If you want to fight against the country, you need an F-15. You need something a little more than a gun. Elect the Attorney General of the Senate. Elect that big old boy to be governor. You know what the Mexicans are, Mexico, which has real problems, causing us real problems, you know what their biggest complaint is? Can't we stop gun trafficking across the southern border into Mexico?
All right, that big old boy is John Fetterman, who had a stroke 2 days before the primary in May. He's running against Dr. Oz in the Senate race in Pennsylvania. He called him governor, but he's running in the Senate. There was some confusion there. It has been a busy week in the state of Pennsylvania. President Biden's going to deliver a primetime speech tonight in Philadelphia, the second of 3 appearances in the Keystone State over a 6-day period. Then former President Donald Trump will hold a rally in Pennsylvania on Saturday night. We'll have that for you here on Newsmax. The Keystone State could be the biggest battleground state this cycle. For more, let's welcome back in Pennsylvania Congressman and former U.S. Navy JAG officer Guy Reschenthaler. Congressman, great to have you on. Good morning.
Good morning, Rob. Thanks. And please, as always, just call me Guy.
Okay, Guy, I will. We always go through that. It's just natural to call you Congressman. So Pennsylvania, your state's going to elect a governor and a senator in 68 days. How important is the Keystone State on November the 8th?
Well, it's incredibly important. First off, we've got to win this seat, the Senate seat, if we're going to have any chance of taking the Senate, which I do think we will take the Senate back from the Democrats. And as far as the gubernatorial race, I think it's incredibly important that we don't elect Josh Shapiro, the current attorney general, because he is really at his heart, a political activist, and he will really weaponize the governor's mansion. There's a lot on the line. We also have a lot of pickup opportunities in Congress. I think that we're going to take back Connor Lamb's seat. I think we even have a shot of winning the seat in downtown Pittsburgh because the member there is retiring. I think Jim Bognett in Scranton is going to beat Cartwright, which would be a huge symbolic victory to beat the Democrats in Joe Biden's fake hometown. That would be amazing. But when you look at the Democrat candidates and you look at our candidates, the division is incredibly great because these candidates are so extreme. Right. You've got Fetterman running against Dr. Oz, who wants to literally release 1/3 of all prisoners in the state of Pennsylvania. Our crime rates are already higher. There's more murder in Philadelphia than there's ever been this year. You also have him saying that
he says he'll end life without parole for convicted murderers on day 1 in the state of Pennsylvania. I want to play you a soundbite from John Fetterman. This is some of CNN's coverage of a rally that Fetterman held a couple days ago. Take a look.
Rallying members of the United Steelworkers Tuesday, Fetterman was on message, but often halting in his speech and occasionally dropped words mid-sentence.
Being anti-union is anti-American. What is wrong with demanding for an easy, safe kind of their income, a path to a safe place for them to win?
All right, so Dr. Oz, not a perfect candidate, but John Fetterman, health problems, had a stroke in May, will not debate Dr. Oz. Do you think Pennsylvania voters have really started to tune in, or will they do that after Labor Day?
Well, I think they're starting to learn more and more about Fetterman. And Rob, let me just gently push back on the Dr. Oz not being a perfect candidate. I think Dr. Oz was the only candidate the Republicans had in this race that could beat Fetterman, because Fetterman has this star power. He looks like he was in the Sons of Anarchy with his tattoos, his beard, although he's a trust fund baby that's leached off his parents. But I think that this race will start to tighten. Dr. Oz is within 5 or 6 points right now. And remember, he had $35 million in just negative ads spent against him during that brutal primary. The Democrats, by contrast, would not allow Connor Lamb to run negative ads on Fetterman. So Fetterman, up to this point, has been untouched. So as the public starts to learn about how soft Fetterman is on crime, how he thinks that fracking is a quote-unquote blight on Pennsylvania, that he wants to do away with private health insurance, that's going to bring more and more people to Dr. Oz. And I think that's why Dr. Oz ultimately wins this race.
Yeah, hopefully Dr. Oz can make up ground over the next 2 months. He's behind in basically every poll by a couple of points. but the margin is getting a lot tighter. So this is going to be a really close race. Pennsylvania,
Rob, it's
such
all
an
about
important
trajectory.
state. Yeah, absolutely.
It's all about trajectory in this race, in these races. And when you look at Dr. Oz starting to climb,
Right.
I think that that's going to continue to climb. Plus, he's outspending Fetterman right now 2-1.
Yeah.
That's not insignificant. That's going to make a difference.
Peaking at the right time. Guy, Congressman, great having you back on. Look forward to doing it again. Pennsylvania, so important. So look forward to having you back. Thank you.
Thanks, Rob. Take care.
All right.